and welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I'm Rabbi Peter Hyman, Rabbi at Temple B'nai Israel, and we are not coming to you as we do normally from the studios of MCTV, because we are all doing this live streaming, not in person, because of COVID-19, which someday I pray will pass. But we are coming to you nevertheless virtually, and I am delighted to share with you the two guests that we have this morning, Kathy Bozen and Buck Duncan, both of whom are familiar to anybody who has any activity in Easton. Let me introduce Kathy officially first. Kathy is a licensed Standards for Excellence nonprofit consultant with 35 years experience in nonprofits and small businesses. Kathy has a master's in social work from Washington University in St. Louis, a fabulous school, may I add parenthetically. Since moving to Talbot County in 2008, Kathy has worked with the Talbot Spy, and for the past 5 years with Amy Haynes and Richard Marks and the Dock Street Foundation. Dock Street Foundation is a family foundation supporting health, kids, education, the arts, and the environment of the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Kathy, welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. And my pleasure. And of course, Buck Duncan is familiar to so many of us. Buck has been the president of the Midshore Community Foundation since June of 2013, after he retired as president and CEO of Talbot Bank, which is now Shore United Bank. Buck is truly a remarkable community leader. Under his guidance, the size and the impact of the Midshore Community Foundation has grown tremendously and has been able to impact all of us in significant and powerful ways. Buck, I'm delighted to have you at the Rabbi's Roundtable as well. So thank you both.
Thank you for the invitation, Rabbi.
My pleasure. And I thought what we would do, we talk a little bit about what's going on in Easton from your perspective, but also I wanted to focus on something that people have been asking me about. If you've been downtown, you've seen these really pretty multicolored signs which says Hopeful 2020. So I'm going to start. Kathy, can you tell us what is Hopeful 2020?
Sure. So Hopeful 2020 is a collaboration between Duck Street Foundation and the Midshore Community Foundation. And our goal is to remind people that during this very difficult time of the coronavirus, we want to remain hopeful, and not only hopeful, but helpful. There's a lot of people in need in our community right now, and it's not over. And so the goal of the Hopeful campaign is to use art, like these beautiful signs, to inspire people to donate money to Midshore Community Foundation's COVID-19 Response Fund. And in the case of the Hopeful, specifically to those organizations that are supporting those nonprofits in our community, supporting hunger, homelessness, and healthcare, specifically mental health. Some of the biggest needs in our community right now.
Without question. Buck, do you want to respond and add to anything that Kathy just said?
I can indeed. The partnership is important to us for obvious reasons. And generally what will happen when an individual makes the contribution to Hopeful, it will come to the Hopeful Fund here at Midshore Community Foundation, and we will use it for, frankly, COVID issues here, not only in Talbot County. I think we'll focus with Hopeful in Talbot, but we have a COVID fund which reaches out to the 5 counties which we serve. And it's an interesting history, I guess, of how our COVID-19 fund started, but I recall it very clearly. I had just gotten back from vacation. I was on an airplane and I started to see masks. I didn't really put it together until I got home for a day or two. And it was about the 15th of March, and the COVID wave started to really hit not only this area, but the whole world. So I'm very fortunate. I work here in the Bullet House with 4 very bright, motivated ladies. And about a week of that, I saw our not-for-profit world just literally get paralyzed. Nobody knew who was on first. Nobody knew what to do. And we were sitting here, and I said to the ladies, I got an idea, and we've got to do something, whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, we got to do it. So we came up with this idea that we would go to our executive committee and the board of Midshore with a notion of we'd establish a COVID-19. And we, Midshore Community Foundation, would provide $100,000 in seed money to get that fund started. So I fast forward now to just this past week to give you a total. We're approaching grants for the 5 counties, and they are, as Kathy alluded, it's basic stuff. It's we're feeding people, we're sheltering, it's healthcare, and now mental health in a big, big way, because we just don't have any idea how big that is. But my point is this, about $750,000 in grants that we've provided thus far for the 5 counties. And we do it in an interesting way. It is done with our all volunteer grants committee. There are 20 of them, and they review grant requests every week, and they approve or disapprove. So we work fast. Most of the grants are $5,000 in nature, and some of the recipients have gotten more than just one grant. But that was something that we decided to do, and we continue to get grants daily, and hopeful will be part of that to enable us to continue to support individuals here in the 5 counties.
That's terrific, and we thank the both of you for the work you're doing. One quick story. It's personal, but apropos to seeing people in masks. I had my first grandchild was born last October, actually last November, sorry. And I flew out to LA. We saw the baby, and I'm sitting in LAX on a waiting for the plane to get back to Baltimore. And I'm watching all these folk deplane from flights from Japan and other places in Asia, and everybody, man, woman, and child, had masks on. And I thought to myself, that's interesting. You see occasionally a person wearing a mask on a plane, but every person. And then it became real, and I understood that they knew about this and they were responding to it. So it's serious, and we thank you for what you're doing. How do you think the general public, what can we do to get involved and be helpful to Hopeful 2020?
So the best way to get involved is to make a contribution to the Hopeful Fund that goes straight to Midshore Community Foundation's fund. And you can do that through several different ways. You can go to docstreetfoundation.org, click on that link for Hopeful, and it'll take you directly into Midshore Community Foundation's portal. For the first time, we tried some text to give and text to donate options. So if you want to donate through your credit card, you can text the word Hopeful to the number 56512, and you can donate that way. You could also text Hope 15, Hope 25, or Hope 50 for a $15, a $25, or a $50 donation to 80100. Easiest way to do it is to go to our website, docstreetfoundation.org, and follow the Hopeful link.
I've had a question asked of me that I don't have the answer to, but several people really think that the Hopeful 2020 signs are lovely and beautiful pieces of art. Would you talk about how this came to be and if they are available, if people want to purchase one or two?
Sure. So I think it was early on in the pandemic, maybe in early May, that Richard Marks and Amy Haynes were in Maine, and they happened to see this 24-foot Hopeful sign, and they loved it. And they, of course, said, we need to get one of those for our community. So they connected with the artist who created it, named Charlie Hewitt, who's a very well-known artist.
Yep. And
Charlie managed to get a 8-foot and 3 5-foot Hopeful signs that Dock Street Foundation purchased from him. Those signs are around Easton right now. One of them is on the Eastern Shore Land Conservancy building facing the hospital. Two of them are right in downtown at Dover and Washington. And the third one is at the farmers market on Harrison Street. And they're all lit up at night. And they're pretty spectacular. And so the idea is, since the beginning, Hopeful has been about the arts, right? The arts inspire us. If you think about when the pandemic started, it was the arts that were bringing people together through social media. It was music and visual arts and film and dance. So you're going to be hearing more about Hopeful arts projects as we move into the fall. This campaign is not over anytime soon. As Buck will tell you, although they've distributed a tremendous amount of money through those grants, it's not over yet, and the need is just going to continue to grow. And so you're going to start seeing some arts projects. We're collaborating with the Talbot County Arts Council. So you're going to start hearing about poetry, writing, and fine arts and craft projects as well.
Oh, that is really exciting. Buck, do you have any comments or any information that you want to share with the audience as to what to do to make contributions, and from your perspective in terms of the Midshore Community Foundation's role? Did we lose Buck?
I think we may have lost Buck.
Oh, bummer. Okay. Well, I'll ask the question of Kathy. Anything you want to share further with the...
So anybody can go to the Midshore Community Foundation's website, but if you want to participate in our Hopeful campaign and sort of stand up and say, I'm hopeful for a future, you know, I think Richard and Amy and I all believe that at the end of this, we're going to come out better, stronger as a community. And it's going to be, we're going to be closer and wiser at the end of this. So we'd like you to join us, express your feelings of hope. If you want to do that through art, keep your ears open, because we're going to have ways for you to do that. Stop by the Easton Farmers Market any day, any Saturday, and we have a Hopeful table there, and you can talk to us about it, make a contribution. You can also purchase Hopeful bumper stickers and face masks at Vintage Books in downtown Easton, and at both Eat Sprout locations in Easton and St. Michael's.
Terrific. Yes, the table at the farmers market is always available. Great information, engaging folk, people who want to speak to other folks. So we're appreciative of that. Just out of curiosity, the artwork that may be available, any time frame when that's concerned, when we can...
So there's talk about at the end of the campaign, which we suspect will be at the end of 2020, we may do some auctions and auction off those signs. We don't have specifics about that yet.
Okay. Anything else you think that we need to share with the listening audience?
I just want to remind people about the need. So in this month's issue of Shore Monthly magazine, we heard from community responders like Beth Ann Langrel of For All Seasons, which is the largest behavioral health and rape crisis center serving the 5 counties of the Midshore. They have had 350 new clients since the beginning of the pandemic, right? People experiencing anxiety, depression, people that are unemployed, don't know what to do. The Neighborhood Service Center, in the same issue of the Shore Monthly, they talked about they used to feed 125 households a month. Now they're up to 777 households. There's a lot of people that need food in our community.
I can tell you, I have a small fund that I'm able to use to support community projects and institutions. I can't remember ever seeing the level of need that is out there now. In the all the years I've been here, it is really serious, and I would urge everybody and anybody who can to try to impact the need in a positive way. So anyway. Thank you. We've been talking with Kathy Bozen. As I said, Kathy is Well, I won't read the whole, but with Dock Street Foundation, yes. And we were talking with Buck Duncan, who is president of Midshore Community Foundation. I'm not sure where Buck went, but we'll get both of you back. I would like to continue the conversation
Thank you.
down the road for sure, and I'll let you know. But thank you both for being here to deal with the COVID-19 crisis and how our community is responding. And I'm pleased that we are responding as positively as we are. We will be right back, Easton, after these quick breaks.
Did you know? MCTV programming is available online. Find our shows like Rabbi's Roundtable, Carlisle's Chesapeake, The Shameless Picture Show, Conversations with Sherry, and the Avalon Theater Presents at youtube.com/Midshore Community Television.
And we are back. I want to thank again Kathy Bozen from Dock Street Foundation and Buck Duncan, who is president of the Midshore Community Foundation, for really sharing with us important and necessary information as we deal with the pandemic and our response to it. Before we conclude this segment of the Rabbi's Roundtable, I just thought I would talk a little bit, as I've done in past years, about the upcoming Jewish High Holy Days. I am the rabbi, and for those of you who don't know, we have the Jewish New Year, which is called Rosh Hashanah, and 10 days later, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, which literally means the Day of Atonement. They come in a 10-day period, and what's interesting, it's as if Christmas and Easter came in a 10-day period. It's a lot of sermons and several services, and I get to, I don't know if you can see this, but I get to sound the ram's horn. I won't do it on television, but trust me, it's fun. The High Holy Days give us a chance to do a couple of things, to start a new religious year, but also their theme is introspection, soul searching, rebalancing our relationships, reconciliation, and forgiveness. We are living in a time where forgiveness, reconciliation, and civility really need to be stressed. I'm not going to give you my sermons, but I could if you ask me. Call me privately. But as we head into the fall and into for the Jewish community is the holiday season, those themes of forgiveness, repentance, and reconciliation are a major focus. And in truth, they need to be a focus for all of us. So with that as a thought, I will say thank you, Easton, for tuning in. Thank you to our producer, Nick Richards, for allowing me to do this. And we will see you next time on the Rabbi's Roundtable.